Have you ever felt that certain people enter your life at a moment so precise that it feels impossible to dismiss it as chance, as if something unseen aligned the circumstances long before you were aware of it, guiding that encounter into existence at exactly the right time? This feeling is not an illusion, nor is it simply romantic thinking, because some connections operate beyond logic and conscious intention, unfolding from deeper psychological layers where meaning exists before explanation. Carl Jung believed that the most significant relationships in our lives do not appear randomly, but emerge from the hidden architecture of the psyche itself, shaped by the collective unconscious, where shared symbols, archetypes, and unresolved inner patterns silently influence who we are drawn toward. When two individuals cross paths and feel an immediate sense of recognition, it is often because something within them has already met on an unconscious level long before words were exchanged. This kind of attraction cannot be reduced to physical desire or surface-level compatibility because it arises from a deeper resonance where unspoken parts of the self respond to something familiar in the other person. Beneath awareness, archetypal energies are activated, and the psyche begins to move toward what it feels it needs in order to grow, heal, or become whole. Jung described this phenomenon through the concept of synchronicity, moments that appear coincidental on the surface but carry profound inner meaning, revealing an invisible connection between inner psychological states and outer life events. When someone enters your life through synchronicity, it is often because your inner world is ready to encounter a mirror, a lesson, or a catalyst for transformation. Within every human being exists a vast unconscious landscape where suppressed emotions, forgotten experiences, unresolved wounds, and authentic desires quietly shape behavior and attraction. When you meet someone who touches that hidden terrain, the reaction is immediate and unmistakable, not because you fully understand it, but because something deep within recognizes itself in the other. This recognition can feel magnetic, as if an invisible bridge has formed between two inner worlds, drawing them together with a force that feels both intimate and unavoidable. It is not simply that you feel comfortable with this person, but that your psyche senses meaning in their presence, as if they carry something you must confront, integrate, or learn. Sometimes these individuals arrive as lovers, sometimes as friends, and sometimes as challengers who disrupt your sense of stability. Jung suggested that such people often embody aspects of our own shadow, the parts of ourselves we have rejected, denied, or failed to understand. Their presence brings those hidden elements into the light, whether we are ready for it or not. This is why the deepest relationships are not always the easiest ones, because they do not exist solely to provide comfort or pleasure, but to reveal truth. The unconscious does not seek convenience, it seeks wholeness, and in its pursuit of wholeness, it will draw us toward experiences that force self-awareness, even when that awareness is uncomfortable. Many people wonder why they repeatedly feel drawn to the same types of relationships, especially those that end in disappointment or emotional pain. From a Jungian perspective, this pattern is not the result of bad luck or fate's cruelty, but a sign that unresolved inner conflicts are seeking expression and healing through repetition. The unconscious projects unhealed wounds onto others, hoping that through relationship, what was once ignored will finally be seen. Fear of abandonment, insecurity, and emotional neglect do not disappear on their own. They shape attraction until they are consciously addressed. What feels like destiny is often the psyche asking for attention. Life, in this sense, places mirrors in our path, not to punish us, but to invite us into deeper self-understanding. Without awareness, however, these mirrors can trap us in cycles that repeat the same pain under different faces. Awareness is what transforms repetition into growth.
Jung believed that love, in its truest form, is not merely a source of happiness, but a profound path of individuation, the process through which a person becomes psychologically whole. Those who leave a lasting impact on our lives are often the ones who force us to confront who we really are beneath our masks and defenses. Not every connection is meant to last forever. Some people enter our lives only to deliver a specific lesson, arriving at the exact moment we are ready to receive it and leaving once their purpose has been fulfilled. The depth of a connection is not measured by its duration, but by the transformation it initiates. When we begin to see relationships through this lens, loss becomes less about abandonment and more about completion. Gratitude replaces resentment, and understanding takes the place of clinging. We realize that endings are not failures, but transitions aligned with our inner evolution. True harmony, Jung taught, cannot be forced through fear, attachment, or control. When a connection is aligned, it unfolds naturally, growing alongside personal development. When it becomes strained or forced, it often signals that the inner paths of those involved are beginning to diverge. The ego resists this truth, preferring familiarity over growth, even when familiarity causes suffering. We hold on because we are afraid of emptiness, afraid of change, afraid that letting go means losing part of ourselves. But what we truly lose by holding on is the opportunity for something more authentic to emerge.
Life is always guiding us toward deeper alignment, even when the process feels like loss. When we release relationships that no longer resonate with who we are becoming, we create space for connections that reflect our present truth rather than our past wounds. Real love is not about possession or dependency, but about freedom, expansion, and mutual growth. It does not seek to complete what is broken, but to share what has been made whole. When two individuals meet at the right moment, after doing the inner work required for self-awareness, their connection flows effortlessly, without force or fear. Jung believed that the greatest journey of a lifetime is not the search for another person, but the discovery of the self. And when that discovery begins, the right relationships arrive naturally, not as compensation for emptiness, but as reflections of inner wholeness. So the next time you feel an unexplainable pull toward someone, pause and turn inward. Ask yourself what this connection is revealing about you, what part of your unconscious is seeking expression, and whether this encounter is guiding you toward growth or repeating an old pattern. Because the truth is never found outside of you. Relationships are not destinations, they are mirrors along the path of self-discovery. And when you understand this, love transforms from a search into a process of awakening, where every connection becomes part of your inner evolution. As you begin to change internally, you may notice that people you once felt deeply connected to slowly fade from your life, while new individuals who resonate with your evolving energy start to appear naturally, not because you forced anything, but because inner transformation always reshapes external reality. This shift is not random, nor is it cruel, but a clear reflection of who you are becoming beneath the surface. Carl Jung believed that the human psyche is not merely a collection of thoughts, memories, and emotions, but a living, energetic field that constantly interacts with the world around it. What moves silently within your unconscious does not remain hidden. It expresses itself through your experiences, your relationships, and the patterns that repeat in your life.
This is why some people encounter meaningful love at moments of deep self-alignment, while others remain caught in cycles of disappointment, not due to bad luck, but due to unresolved inner states. When emotional wounds remain unhealed, they act like signals, drawing toward you people who mirror those same wounds. If, deep within, you carry the belief that love is painful or unstable, you will unconsciously gravitate toward relationships that confirm that belief, not because life is punishing you, but because your psyche is attempting to bring what is hidden into awareness so it can finally be healed. Jung referred to this dynamic as projection, the process by which we perceive in others what we have not yet recognized or integrated within ourselves. This is why certain people inspire us deeply, while others provoke discomfort, rejection, or emotional pain. Their power over us does not come from who they are, but from what they awaken inside us. The unconscious, Jung taught, is always striving for wholeness, and relationships are one of its most powerful tools. What attracts you most strongly to someone, or what repels you with equal intensity, is often a message from your own inner world, pointing towards something that still requires understanding. When this realization becomes conscious, relationships cease to feel like random events and begin to reveal their deeper purpose. At that point, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of fate and start to understand that every person who enters your life does so for a reason. Some arrive to offer love, others to challenge your illusions, and others simply to teach you the art of letting go. All of them, without exception, reflect the state of your inner energy at the time they appear. Once this awareness settles in, the desperate search for the right person slowly dissolves, replaced by a deeper commitment to becoming the most authentic version of yourself. Because only when you are internally whole can you truly connect with someone who resonates with that wholeness rather than your wounds. This path, however, is not comfortable. Jung warned that self-knowledge demands courage because it requires facing the parts of yourself you have avoided for years. It means acknowledging fears, confronting emotional pain, and accepting that some relationships failed not because love was absent, but because you were not yet prepared to receive it in a healthy form.
We often imagine love as something that simply arrives effortlessly from the outside, but in reality, love is constructed from within. Inner chaos attracts chaotic connections. Inner fear attracts insecurity and emotional instability. But when peace takes root inside you, your relationships begin to reflect that peace naturally, without effort or force. This is why the most important question is not why love has not appeared yet, but who you are becoming in this moment. The quality of love you experience will always mirror the relationship you have with yourself. If self-worth is absent, you will attract those who fail to value you. If boundaries are weak, you will attract those who cross them. But when clarity and self-respect are present, toxic connections quietly disappear. Jung taught that life is not ultimately about finding someone else, but about finding oneself. And once that process begins, the right relationships emerge effortlessly, not from desperation, but from alignment. When this understanding settles in, the fear of being alone fades, replaced by a sense of inner stability. You stop viewing solitude as failure and begin to see it as an opportunity for growth. You no longer cling to relationships that bring suffering because you understand that love is not meant to diminish you, but to expand you. And perhaps most importantly, you stop searching for someone to complete you because you recognize that you were never incomplete to begin with.
It is often at this precise moment, when the search ends and inner fullness begins, that meaningful connection appears. Not because you needed it, but because your energy finally aligned with it. This is why many people encounter love when they stop chasing it. It is not coincidence, but the deepest expression of attraction operating at the level of consciousness. Jung believed that the most meaningful relationships are those in which two individuals support each other's evolution. They are not based on dependency or emotional hunger, but on shared growth and authenticity. When two people who have done their inner work finally meet, the bond that forms is not driven by fear or control, but by truth. There are no games, no manipulation, and no need to prove worth. Only presence, honesty, and love in its purest form. But reaching this stage requires inner responsibility. It requires healing emotional wounds, integrating the shadow, and learning to accept yourself fully. The next time you feel a strong connection to someone, pause and reflect. Ask yourself whether this person reflects your growth or your unhealed pain. Ask whether the relationship invites expansion or repeats old patterns. The answer will reveal whether the bond is a genuine blessing or a disguised lesson. Destiny, in the end, is not a mysterious force acting independently of you, but a reflection of your inner state expressed through life. When you change from within, everything around you begins to shift, especially the people who enter and exit your world. When two individuals meet at the same level of inner alignment, there is an immediate sense of familiarity, a feeling of home that goes beyond physical attraction or emotional excitement. Jung would describe this as an encounter with the anima or animus, the unconscious inner counterpart that brings balance and psychological integration. Throughout life, we meet countless people, but only a few truly transform us. Those encounters are never accidental. They mirror the stage of psychological growth we are in. When you are evolving, you attract those who push you forward. When fear remains unresolved, you attract those who trigger it. This is why the most intense connections are often the most challenging. Sometimes the person who affects you most is not the one who brings instant peace, but the one who forces self-awareness, awakening insecurities you can no longer ignore. These relationships are not always meant to last, but they exist to reveal truths you once avoided. The danger arises when such bonds are mistaken for true love, trapping people in destructive dynamics under the illusion that suffering is proof of depth. But love is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to awaken you. Carl Jung warned that when we remain unconscious of our shadow, we inevitably project it onto others, mistaking our own unresolved wounds for flaws in the people we attract. When inner pain remains unhealed, it does not disappear. It seeks expression, often through relationships that mirror what we have yet to face within ourselves. Instead of turning inward, many people become trapped in the illusion that the problem always lies with the other person, never realizing that the same patterns keep repeating because the same inner energy remains unchanged. This is why, after leaving a difficult relationship, so many people find themselves reliving similar experiences with different faces. The circumstances may change, the personalities may differ, but the emotional outcome feels hauntingly familiar. From a Jungian perspective, this repetition is not coincidence, nor is it misfortune. It is the unconscious reenacting unresolved patterns, waiting for awareness to break the cycle. True love, the kind Jung described as a genuine soul connection, does not revolve around chaos, emotional dependency, or constant suffering. It is not fueled by drama, fear, or power struggles. Instead, it emerges when two individuals meet from a place of inner stability, authenticity and mutual respect, without the need to control, manipulate, or seek validation through pain. Yet reaching this kind of connection requires something many people avoid: deep inner work. It is far easier to blame fate, criticize past partners, or claim that love is unfair than it is to examine the beliefs and wounds carried within. Jung famously said that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will continue to direct our lives, and we will call it destiny. This means the same emotional lessons will repeat, the same types of people will appear, and the same disappointments will resurface until personal responsibility replaces unconscious projection. But the moment you commit to inner awareness, real change begins. You stop feeling magnetically drawn to what once hurt you. You no longer seek approval from those incapable of giving it. You stop romanticizing suffering and begin to recognize love as a space for growth, clarity, and emotional safety.
This is where transformation truly takes place. When you heal what was once empty, you no longer search for someone to fill that void. When self-worth becomes rooted within you, you stop accepting fragments of affection or settling for emotional scarcity. Most importantly, you release the belief that happiness depends on another person because you have already cultivated it within yourself. It is often at this stage that the right connection appears, not as something desperately sought, but as something naturally aligned. Not because you needed someone to complete you, but because your inner state now resonates with healthier love. However, there is an essential truth many people struggle to accept. Not all souls are ready to meet at the same time. Sometimes an intense connection exists, yet the paths cannot merge because both individuals still have separate lessons to learn. This does not mean the bond was imaginary or meaningless. It simply means the timing was not aligned. Jung believed that life unfolds according to an inner rhythm, and forcing a connection before its time only creates suffering. When two souls are truly meant to meet, they will do so when both have reached the necessary level of awareness. Until then, the most respectful way to honor that connection is not through attachment or longing, but through individual growth. Evolution, not waiting, is what keeps the bond alive in its truest form. Many people become trapped in the past, hoping for someone to return, unaware that the real journey is not backward but forward. Love does not ask you to pause your growth for another person. It asks you to become more yourself. And when growth is authentic, it often inspires transformation in others without force or pressure.
Love, then, is not a matter of luck, but of energy. It is not about chasing the right person, but about becoming the person who naturally attracts authentic connection. If love feels absent, the question is not when someone will arrive, but who you are becoming in the process of waiting. When inner alignment takes place, synchronicity begins to unfold. Jung taught that coincidences do not exist, only meaningful resonances that appear when inner and outer worlds align. As your energy changes, life responds. The right people enter your experience, new opportunities emerge, and relationships that once caused pain quietly lose their grip on you. This is the deeper truth Jung wanted us to understand. Love is not something you find outside yourself. It is something you create within. And when that inner state is established, it reflects outward almost effortlessly, reshaping your reality in ways that feel almost magical. This is why turning inward is essential. Healing the mind, opening the heart, and integrating the shadow are not abstract ideas, but practical necessities for conscious love. When you embody your highest truth, the connections that resonate with it arrive naturally, without chasing, without fear, and without confusion. When two people who have done this inner work finally meet, there is no need for emotional games or uncertainty. The connection flows because both understand the same truth. Love is not something you seek to complete you, but something you share from wholeness.
From this perspective, relationships stop being necessities and become extensions of personal growth. Love is no longer about filling emptiness, but about expanding awareness. And this is only possible when patterns are recognized, wounds are healed, and limiting beliefs are released. As this transformation unfolds, life begins to present situations that once felt impossible. You encounter people who uplift rather than drain you, who inspire rather than confuse you, not because the universe has changed, but because you have. Fear and lack dissolve, replaced by confidence and authenticity. It is within this state that the most meaningful encounters occur, where two souls recognize each other not through need, but through freedom, not because they complete one another, but because they enhance one another. Yet it is important to remember that not all connections are meant to last forever, and that truth does not diminish their value. Some people enter your life only to reveal a path, to awaken awareness, or to teach a lesson necessary for your evolution. When this is understood, the fear of loss fades. You no longer cling to what has fulfilled its purpose. You no longer confuse pain with depth or sacrifice with love. Solitude transforms from something feared into a sacred space for self-discovery.
If at this moment love feels distant, the invitation is not to search harder outside, but to look deeper within. Ask yourself whether you are ready for the connection you desire, whether your inner world reflects the harmony you wish to experience, or whether old patterns are still unconsciously shaping your choices. Because the truth is simple yet profound. You do not need to find someone to be whole. You need to find yourself. And when you do, love emerges naturally as a reflection of your inner transformation. When the energy of two souls truly aligns, their paths meet without force. But before that alignment occurs, awareness must come first. Love is not governed by chance, but by consciousness. And when consciousness awakens, everything begins to change.